Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Ma'am, shall we proceed?
Yes, please.
Thank you, ma'am. Principal ma'am, shall we?
Yes, madam. Yes, please.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good afternoon to one and all present here. The Department of English of Sri Shankar Lal Sundarbai Sashun Jain College cordially welcomes you all for the inaugural session of the one-week faculty development program on communicative English. Let us join together to beseech the blessings of the Almighty to be showered on us generously today. May I request Dr. Hashalata, Head Department of Hindi to render the prayer song.
नमो अरिहन्तानं नमो सेद्धानं नमो आयरियाणं नमो वजायाणं नमो लोये सवसाहोनं ऐसो पंच नमोकारो सव पावपनासनो मंगलानं चे सवेसिं परमं हवै मंगलम परमं हवै मंगलम.
Thank you, Madam. Sashan family wishes to extend its hospitality by welcoming you all. May I request the Principal, Dr. S. Padmavati, to welcome the gathering.
Thank you, Ms. Deep, Ms. Gayatri. I am very happy. Good afternoon to one and all present here. The most valuable resource that all teachers have is each other. Without collaboration, our growth is limited to our own perspectives, by Robert John Meehan. With these words, I extend a hearty welcome on behalf of our management, secretary, staff and students of Sri Shankar Lal Sundarbai Sashun Jain College for Women to one and all who have joined for this seminar here. Dear ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to welcome you all for this 7-day FDP program for the Faculty of English. I welcome our chief guest, Dr. Jayasudha Tyagarajan, COO, Sankalp Cell, NIMI, MSDE, GOL, and all the eminent speakers, Dr. LRS Kalanidhi, the Vice Principal, Students Affairs of Guru Nanak College, Dr. B. Na Anil, Vice Principal, Sri Devakunvar Nalnal Vaishnav College, and Dr. Sumati Shivakumar, Assistant Professor from AM Jain College, and all the faculties who have joined us here today for this 7-day FDP program. I mean, it was a thought by our Vice Principal, Dr. Rukmani. She has initiated that, why don't we go for a FDP program for English, ma'am? In the sense that the TANSHE has come out with courses for the undergraduate programs, communicative English and also professional English. We thought that, why don't we be the pioneer in inspiring the young faculty of English to take up this particular FDP program? Thank you, Vice Principal, for your thought. And it was very well taken up by our English department, which has been headed by Dr. Santosh Mita in the first shift and Dr. Kuljit in the second shift. And the team of faculty members have initiated. We are very thankful to all the faculty all over India for giving their responses. And they said that we are with you. Come on, we will have this FDP. I'm thankful. And Jayasudha ma'am, we are very much thankful to you for giving your acceptance, and all the professors and the speakers who have accepted the invitation to render their valuable and sharing their valuable knowledge. I suppose industry asks us when they come for the placement drives, which department you all belong to. Come on, BCom, BCA, BSc Computer Science, BSc Physics, Chemistry, whatever it may be. They all say that the skill of the core sector can be developed by them in their industry as an on-job training. But what is lacking in our children, especially in Tamil Nadu, is the communicative English and the professional English, or the ability to speak in English, the ability to write, the ability to converse. I think it is a very good initiative of our government that they have brought this course into the UG curriculum. and let us all join hands to make it successful. And I hope that you all will enjoy this 7 days program. Thank you very much. Along with you, I am also eagerly awaiting to listen to Dr. Jayasudha ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam, for your inspiring and encouraging words. Now, I request the Vice Principal, Dr. S. Rukmani, to introduce our chief guest, Dr. Jayasudha Tyagarajan.
Thank you, Gayatri ma'am. Good afternoon to one and all present here. It is a great honor for me to introduce and welcome our esteemed chief guest for the day, Dr. Jayasudha Tyagarajan, COO, Sankalp Cell, Government of India at National Instructional Media Institute, MSDE. Dr. Jayasudha Tyagarajan is an experienced research officer with a demonstrated history of working in the higher education industry. Skilled in lecturing, educational technology, instructional design, curriculum development, and public speaking, she is a strong educational professional and an academic visitor in TESOL Observer from Center of English Language and Education, University of Nottingham. Ma'am has completed her postgraduate in MA English Language and Literature and a PhD holder in Applied Linguistics from the University of Madras. She has also pursued PGCTE, Postgraduate Certificate in Teaching of English in English and Foreign Language University, Hyderabad. She has completed Masters in Teaching English to Speakers of Other Languages, TESOL, from University of Nottingham. It is my privilege to mention that she has served as DGM, Deputy Director at National Instructional Media Institute, Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, Government of India, and also served as a research officer, Tamil Nadu State Council for Higher Education, Department of Higher Education, Government of Tamil Nadu. We welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you, madam. It's my honor to invite our chief guest, Dr. Jayasudha Tyagarajan, to deliver the inaugural address. Over to the chief
Good
guest.
afternoon to one and all. At the outset, I would like to place on record gratitude to the head Department of English, Jain College, and also Dr. Sumati Shivkumar, who actually persuaded me to inaugurate this 7-day FDP for this particular college. So thank you, head of Department of English of this college, and also Dr. Sumati Shivkumar. I would also like to thank the organizers, the coordinators, and all the faculty members of the Department of English and other departments of this college, and also participants across the country who are participating in this program. Good afternoon to one and all. At the outset, I would like to start off by saying that English departments have a larger role to play with respect to employability of students across the spectrum, be it at the polytechnics or with the arts and science colleges or with the engineering colleges. As faculty of English, we should have seen that most of us would be having the additional responsibility of running the placement cells and also have the experience of the graduates coming at the last moment when they are actually in the takeoff stage, rushing back to us, telling us that they hardly have the ability to write an application or a resume or a CV, or they are at crossroads not knowing what to do once they complete their graduation. With this mindset, I would like to say that there was also a kind of a thought that went into making a kind of a content and language integrated learning model, which was run as a Tamil Nadu Innovative Initiatives project from the State Council for Higher Education, which I led as the principal investigator. And I also had a host of faculty from across colleges in the state, from arts and science colleges, who were a part of this. And Dr. Sumati Shivkumar was also one in this. With this kind of a preamble, I would like to go on to why communicative English and what it actually means to invest in communicative English. Looking back at the way we learned the English language, we should see that we had motivation from the home front or in the environment, and also in the institutions where we actually enrolled for our courses. But today you see over the last 30 years or so, with liberalization, privatization, and globalization, the profile of learners who enroll into graduate programs has changed drastically. But little has been done with respect to changing the curriculum based on the needs of the learners. Today, if you see in most of the colleges, be it arts and science or technological courses, most of them are first generation learners. They neither do have anyone to support from their home front, nor do they have any kind of role models to emulate in their immediate environment. So the only people whom they look up to is their domain faculty, or it is the English faculty. So we have a larger role to play where you have to relook at the entire process of how language has to be taught and how it has to be learned. I would also like to say that communication is not just the ability to be able to say something. It is the act of sharing and exchanging information. The moment I say something now, when none of the participants or people who are listening to me are able to receive it the same manner in which I intend to deliver it, actually there is a kind of a problem in the communication process itself. Communication has not happened. So with this as a preamble, we can also say that all teaching never becomes equal to learning. Teaching is not equal to learning. When we look at designing language courses, normally most of us who specialize in applied linguistics, we know that applied linguistics helps us to make informed pedagogical decisions in curriculum planning and thereby delivering training models and thereby leading to assessment and evaluation. But unfortunately, today we are actually caught between a kind of scenario where curriculum and content is as old as the English Western educational system itself is in India. We have not changed much from the way it was taught earlier, and we should look at the kind of people who actually took English education. They either wanted to get assimilated with the English culture, or they were motivated to take up white collar jobs with the East India Company. During the freedom movement, if you look at it, it was actually people who wanted to secure jobs were one, and the second one was to have an upward mobility. And this English was the language which actually unified the multilingual English Indian population in this country. But today, post-independence, you find there have been so many changes over the last 70 plus years, but unfortunately, very little implications have been seen in terms of policy in which education in India has to be relooked from a post-colonial perspective, which has never happened. There has to be a content, there has to be a curriculum, there has to be a needs which has to be indigenous in its nature, but it has to subscribe to a framework that is internationally recognizable. This has not happened. So what happened in this neo-colonialism? Again, we started going behind Cambridge University and Cambridge assessments, where we thought BEC is one program which gives employment, but not everyone gets enrolled into business English. None of us put our heads into it thinking about how far business English is going to help everyone. It might help somebody in management studies. It might help somebody who would take up an entrepreneurship, but not somebody who is going to go to a normal kind of an office kind of a work environment, where what he requires is a social kind of a communicative etiquette to perform well professionally, socially, and also personally, to be able to contribute successfully in his career. But that has never happened. Coming back to the next point in this, there is something I think the speakers in the course of this 7-day FDP are going to touch upon all of these, but I thought it would be better to set your mind thinking even before things actually fall in place. Think of something called the RPL, recognition of prior learning. We talk about it as the entry behavior of a student when he or she enrolls into a program. What is the skill sets in language, the communicative repertoire that particular individual comes with when he or she enrolls in our college? We hardly take it into any account, right? And there is another thing also called exit behavior. So a person's transition from when he or she enrolls to when he or she goes out completing the program will show how much one has progressed. This is psychologically, if people from psychology discipline and applied linguists are there, you'll be able to empathize with the ZPD, the zone of proximal development. That has also not been taken care of. We are actually a kind of a society which runs behind marks, which is norm referenced. We hardly have understood that norm referenced is not actually the best model to adapt. We should be running towards an criterion referenced model where level descriptor should be able to show how much one has inculcated of the learning and to what degree one is able to perform. If you go by level descriptors, like you can refer to the CEFR scale if you want. Uh, it shows that there are 6 levels in which the same teaching learning can bring about an experience in a learner. So we know a class is full of mixed ability learners, and not every learner learns things at the same pace, at the same level, and at the same degree. So these differences are captured as A1, A2, B1, B2, C1 and C2 levels. I'm mentioning all of these jargons so that you get an exposure to at least Google and see all of these documents to see how you can transition even as a teacher from a norm to a criterion reference. See, we are not going to do new set of things in a communicative environment. All we are going to do is do the same set of things, but in a different order. To give you an example, a norm-referenced kind of teaching learning behavior normally starts with an objectives, but a criterion reference starts with an outcomes. What you and I can be able to see in real time a student performing, somebody being able to list something, somebody being able to sort something, somebody being able to compare and contrast something, right? These are all outcomes. Now these outcomes you narrow down into lesson objectives, but we actually have been doing the reverse now. We start from objectives and then at the end we say this is what is the marks, but we should start from the outcomes, what you want them or what you want to see them do in real time in front of your eyes. And this measurement is something which is criterion reference, because whether X, Y, or Z measures it, it is going to be approximately the same or similar with no variations, right? So that is the kind of potential that a communicative teaching method has, wherein you will have to take into account the learner's background, the learner's perceptions, the learner's learning styles, the learner's prior experiences and prior learning. If we try to do that, it should be a kind of easy way to take it across. Coming back to the same aspect I spoke about recognition of prior learning, all these prior teaching methodologies were all hypothesis testing methods where you assume certain things, test it, and it either fails or it succeeds. But if you set parameters, you will also have to run along with it. So the shift in our mindset has to be from a product mark to a process model, from a hypothesis testing to a parameter testing model. If we have to do that, we will have to think of so many second language acquisition pedagogical theories that are very popular. I would just like to mention 3 of them. One is Stephen Krashen's input hypothesis. He talks about learning in an incremental way. Suppose I'm exposing a first time learner a small kid of 4 or 5 years to the alphabet of the language. After the child is familiar with the alphabet, only should I go to coining words. Because the second lesson is on coining words, I complete the first lesson and I jump to the second lesson even without considering whether the child has internalized the alphabet or is at least able to recognize it. The second lesson will be a complete waste of time because it is above the head of the child. The child doesn't even know to distinguish and identify the letters of the language. So where is the opportunity for the child to learn to coin words? So it is at an incremental level. You move from one item that you're teaching to the next item only in an incremental sequence, bearing in mind that, keeping in mind, and it is not necessary that every child in the class has to have internalized that particular item that was given as an input at the same level. That degree can be different. See, some of us can retain very quickly, but some of us take a little more time. But that time, if we don't give for internalization, the communicative process completely has a breakdown. The second theory is acculturation. Schumann talks about where India has been using English language for over 200 years now. So we don't have to ape the West. We don't have to speak in an RP like an English person today, because across the world, English is spoken by so many countries in the world. And English is the official language of this country also, because Hindi is not spoken in many states where Hindi is not the first language. So that being the case, why should we imitate and buy models from the West, where, like, say, for your metric system, you have the SI system, right? So anyone can devise any kind of measurements based on that particular reference scale called the SI system. Similarly, you have the European Qualifications Framework reference. You have the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages. And you also have the National Skills Qualification Framework from India itself. Why don't we take these like the SI system for all pedagogy that has to come up in this particular country? So that is the other thing that I'm adapting Schumann's acculturation theory to this. People who use English language for more than 200 years are actually secondary hybrids of the language, and we use this language close to being a native language. So why should we ape the West? That's the second one. The third one is Chomsky's innate ability. So let's not kind of say that somebody comes from a particular background where the environment has not fostered learning languages, so the person cannot learn the language, which is actually absolutely false. A human child is born with an innate ability to learn a language. And what is essential is giving them adequate exposure to learn the language. That is where communication starts actually. And in order to do that, one small request to English language teachers is that let us not think that the mother tongue does not help learning the second language, because there are lots of things that happen in the human brain when one learns a second language, which we call interlanguage, idiosyncratic dialect, in various terms we call it. So it is actually trying to convert and assimilate the grammar of the second language through the familiarity of the first language. So please also nurture somebody to use the first language also effectively, because if one finds it very difficult to learn the first language, learning the second language becomes close to impossible. Right? So I think with this, I would also like to request every one of us to put on thinking hats that Harold Bloom speaks about, the 6 levels of critical thinking, and see that we help them raise a lot of questions and promote them learn and internalize the language from fluency and then go to accuracy, because none of us were capable of speaking in this language this fluently in our earlier stages. We also made our mistakes, right? And these mistakes actually, if you don't encourage the students to commit mistakes and learn from mistakes, they are bound to get fossilized. With this, I wish this FDP all the best from my end, and I thank you organizers for giving me this opportunity to share a few thoughts with you. Thank you.
Thank you, madam, for sparing your valuable time and sharing your valuable inputs with us. The crux we imbibe today from your speech will help us implement a teaching methodology which will be highly beneficial for the younger generation. Thank you. Expressing gratitude exhibits fulfillment. May I request Dr. Santosh Smita, Head of the Department of English, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Gratitude is one of the least articulate of the emotions, especially when it is deep. Today, I take the opportunity to put my gratitude into words. On behalf of the Department of English of Sri Shankar Lal Sundarbai Shasun Jain College for Women, I deem it a great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks to all the dignitaries who have been present here for the inaugural function of the Faculty Development Program. I would like to thank our chief guest, Dr. Jayasudha Tyagarajan, who has graced us with her address and set a perfect platform for our program on communicative English. You are an exemplary person, and we have a lot to learn from you. I extend my thanks to all the resource persons for accepting to be a part of this FDP and edifying it. A heartfelt thanks goes out to our Secretary, sir, who always stands by us, guides us, leads us, and motivates us. I extend my gratitude to the Associate Secretary, the Advisory Committee members, and College Committee members for being with us. I would like to thank our beloved Principal and Vice Principal Ma'am for perennially radiating a source of energy within us, giving us the freedom to conduct such programs and uplifting us in whatever endeavors we undertake. We thank you for being with us today. Once again, I extend my gratitude to the technical team for their support, my team members, and all the participants who have assembled here. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, madam. I would like to announce that we'll have a 5 minutes break before we start the session one. Thank you.
Thank you all. Wish you all the very best. Thank you, Jaysudha ma'am, once again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
We welcome you all for the 1 week FTP on Communicative English. A good beginning leads to reap the best fruit, and there comes fruition. Now, it's time to start the session for the day one. I request Dr. Santosh Smita, Head of the Department of English, to welcome the resource person of the day.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great privilege and pleasure for me to introduce our speaker today, Dr. LRS Kananidhi, who is at present the Vice Principal, Student Affairs, Guru Nanak College, Chennai. She has been a resource person in orientation programs, refresher courses, and teacher induction programs. She is going to talk to us today on the topic Redefine Skills Set to Refine Communicative English, a subject in which we should all be deeply interested in. She has a great understanding of the program and a great appreciation of what it takes to truly make communicative English continue on a path of progress. Our speaker, having spent her entire career, almost 32 years, in the field of academics, has been an all rounder right from her student days. Acquiring 6 degrees from various universities across the country, she has a wide exposure in terms of knowledge and experience. Teaching has been her passion, and she has specialized in communicative language teaching. Besides this, she has served as an NSS program officer for 15 years and has received the Best NSS Program Officer Award on 15th August 1997 from Madurai Kamraj University. She was also honored by the Family Planning Association of India and Family Planning Association at Kathmandu, Nepal for empowering the student and non-student youth in NSS and NYK respectively. She has been honored with a special award, Podunale Chemmal, on 31st December 1999 by the Gandhigram Rural University. An erudite scholar, Dr. Kalanidhi has been a research supervisor guiding part-time MPhil and PhD scholars and has published papers on English language teaching and literature in peer-reviewed journals. Her study material on American literature for UG students, University of Madras, was published in August 2008. Recently, she has also reviewed a 900-page A to Z word picture dictionary for the students of the government primary schools under Sarva Siksha Abhiyan, Government of Tamil Nadu, published in January 2019. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming our eminent speaker, Dr. Kalanidhi.
Thank you, Madam. May I request Dr. Kalanidhi to take over the session. Over to Dr. Kalanidhi.
Thank you, Dr. Santosh Smita and Mrs. Gayatri. Good afternoon to one and all present for this 1 week FDP on Communicative English. At the outset, I express my sincere gratitude to the great supporting pillars of this FDP from Sri Shankarlal Sundarbai Sashun Jain College for Women, T. Nagar, Chennai. The Secretary, Sri Abhaya Sri Srimal Jain Sir, Associate Secretary, Sri R. Ashok Kumar Metha, the Advisory Committee members, Principal Dr. S. Padmavati, Vice Principal Dr. S. Rukmani, Head Department of English Dr. S. Santosh Smita, the faculty members of my favorite Department of English, Mrs. T. Karpagam, Ms. K. Gayatri, Dr. V. Deepa, Ms. S. Shantini, Ms. Rohini Unnikrishnan, Ms. V. Gayatri, and Ms. M. Mohanapriya, and Dr. Kuljeet and team from Shift 2 of Department of English. I'm very glad to have been a member to participate in this FDP as a resource person. I appreciate my fellow resource persons, Dr. Beena Anil from SDNB College, who is the Vice Principal, and Dr. Sumati Shivakumar from AM Jain College, Chennai. Hearty welcome to you, friends. And I'm very glad to be a resource person here. And I took up this responsibility all because SSS, that is a Triple S Jain College, is very closer to my heart. I have visited this college many times as examiner because our central valuation for English is normally held in Triple S Jain College. We always look forward to that because we can do wonderful shopping on the final day when we are paid. And I have come as a resource person for a national seminar on knowledge management and active learning when my good friend Dr. M.S. Sachilekha was the vice principal who invited me some years ago, and as a participant for an FDP along with my department colleagues. And the college used to be bustling with lots of activities with all young girls and teachers in full swing. Students are well disciplined, and the college has always shown its best with its infrastructure facilities. And I could always see the happy, smiling faces of all students and staff. And at this juncture, just a few minutes ago, we were listening to Dr. Jayasudha, a good friend of mine, and I always adore her for her determination and dedication in the field of English language teaching. And she has risen to a greater pedestal now, working for Government of India in the field of English language teaching. Thank you, Dr. Jayasudha, for having shared with us your wonderful knowledge and expertise. And my special thanks to the Government of Tamil Nadu, the Chief Minister, who has initiated this book on communicative English, and Tanshi for having brought out this wonderful book on communicative English. And I could read all the 231 pages of this book, and I could learn a lot. Though I thought it is old wine in a new bottle, but there are many, many new things which have been introduced in this book. And let us just start with our session. Now, this FDP has got 3 resource persons, and we have taken 2 days each. And today and tomorrow, I'll be handling as my screen goes now. Gayatri, you can please stop sharing. I will share from my end.
Yes, ma'am. Sure, ma'am. Sure.
Thank you.
Stop.
Yes, thank you. So, hearty welcome to all the participants of this 7-day-long FDP on communicative English. And I heard that there are more than 400 participants who have registered from all states of India and a little abroad also. I'm really extremely happy. That shows the amount of interest you people have in developing yourselves. Faculty development program has got its own morality, and we will definitely follow the standards of a faculty development program in these 6 days. Yes, now, I should thank the Department of English for having given me the liberty to choose my topic for this FDP, that is a redefine skill sets to refine communicative English. Of course, all the 3 speakers will be concentrating on communicative English, and I want to start with a good beginning, like I want to prepare your minds to listen to the remaining 2 speakers who will be glued to the topic, communicative English, because they have been practicing this text for their students. So here, I want to prepare your minds, the young minds, the teachers' minds, because it's high time. Now we have seen so many changes. This 2020 can never be forgotten because it has brought out unimaginable changes in all walks of life, in everybody's life across the world. So I think it's high time we changed, we redefined to refine our quality of teaching. Today, the definitions have been upgraded, and to match that upgradation, you and I have to upskill ourselves because all of us are working towards the benefit of the students. So let us all put our minds together, and then we'll put our heart and soul by just imbibing all the inputs and insights present in these 7 days through this FDP. I thank the Department of English, Triple Jain College, for having chosen a wonderful topic, and I came to know from the principal that the topic has been chosen by the Vice Principal, Dr. Rukmani. Thank you so much, madam, for bringing out this wonderful topic, and I'm happy that your college is the pioneer in conducting an FDP for the benefit of all. I think hats off to you through this particular program. Now, today and tomorrow, I will be with you, engaging you on the new National Education Policy 2020 and a little bit of warm-up through introspection. I think you will enjoy doing that with me in a few more minutes. And the second part of my presentation today will be on FDP, Faculty Development Program, the modality of FDPs, and I will be redefining the skill sets, because that is what, based on my experience in these 32 years, I have got my own assumptions, based on my experience. So I always waited for an opportunity to share my observations for the better quality of teaching and learning. So tomorrow I'll be doing on different aspects, that is the different kinds of skills prevailing around us and the expected skills for a teacher of English and the challenges and opportunities you and I are facing in this field of teaching. As Dr. Jesudha rightly put it, teaching cannot be equated with learning. What we perceive about teaching may not be the ones taken up by the students. So we have to come down to the level of students to teach what they exactly need to know. So there are lots of things that to be changed in our minds. So let's just start with the day one program. Yeah, actually I too have got the learning outcomes in the next slide, as Dr. Jesudha wanted us to have the learning outcomes first. Anyhow, since I prepared the slides, I'll start with my objectives of this program. Through this program, I am not I alone. I just represent the senior teachers of English in the country as well as in the world. So we want to sensitize the teachers of English of the present day with the latest changes made in this new National Education Policy 2020. And my second objective through this program is to enable you all, them here refers to all the participants present in this program, to introspect. We have to look into ourselves. We have to have our intrapersonal communication to see where we are, how we started our life, how we started our career, and where we are now and where we are going to next. Okay, so in order to bring in quality education, we have to take some time to introspect. And I want to highlight the purpose of this FDP on communicative English. And finally, I will try to equip you all to redefine your skill sets in terms of analytical skills, cognitive skills, psychomotor skills, social skills, and the communication skills. Of course, behavioral skills are also going to be discussed. And the learning outcome will be discussed next. At the end of this 1 week FDP, after listening to all three of us, we expect that the participants of this FDP will be sensitized to the glimpses of the National Education Policy 2020, and you will be able to assess your knowledge, skills, and ethical standards as a teacher, and you will be able to enrich your training skills in communicative English, and you will be enabled to rediscover yourselves by redefining your skill sets, because already we are possessed with certain mindsets and skill sets, and now is the time for us, is the right time for us to redefine. We only have to take little effort to redefine, to refine communicative English in terms of teaching them, or in terms of training them the contents of communicative English to our beneficiaries, the students. And you'll be prepared to transcend towards quality education naturally. When all these things are fulfilled naturally, we will all transcend towards quality education, and that is the learning outcome expected of this program. So we shall start with my first point of agenda, that is glimpses of National Education Policy 2020. I think all of us have been undergoing the various programs, where all these are discussed. And I have resorted to British Council's India's New Education Policy Highlights and Opportunities, published on 24th August 2020. And from that article, I have chosen the few glimpses which are relevant for today's program. So this National Education Policy by the Union Cabinet was approved on 29th July 2020 after 34 years. Long back, I remember, I was also a member of the draft policy way back in 1986 for the previous policy, new education policy. At that time, Mr. Rajiv Gandhi was the Prime Minister, and I was also one of the student members of the draft policy of, I had been to Delhi to attend the program. And so I remember after 34 years, today I'm with you again to discuss this, this new National Education Policy. And this policy is based on the pillars of access. Access in the sense all born in this country should have the access, should have the equal opportunity to have the education. Primary, actually, this policy concentrates on the primary education to the higher secondary education, and because everything should start from that. So we should have access, equal access to education, equity. I think there should be no gender bias or any other creed or caste, nothing should be a barrier in terms of getting education in this country. And we always stand for quality, because it's almost 30 years that this country has become that this country has become, privatized, liberalized, privatized, and globalized. So now we have to discuss, the international standards. So there should be quality in whatever we do, and we should have that affordability. I think this is a debatable topic. I think this will be also discussed later. All of us should have that affordability to get education from schools. Of course, I have different thoughts which may be progressive, but then, all of us, this policy aims at affordability and accountability. You and I, as teachers of English or teachers of any subjects, must have accountability in whatever we do. Gone are those days when teachers used to come, they teach, they make students when pass the exam, and then they just go off and the next batch comes and like that. But today, each and every move of the teacher and the student has to be made accountable. And I know all of us are busier in maintaining files and data and so much. We have been busy in being accountable because we are being watched, we are being observed by not only the Almighty, but all around us. So all of us now need to have uniform accountability in whatever we do. And this is to transform India as a vibrant knowledge hub. Already there is a great demand for these Indian universities. Many students from abroad, they come over here, they choose India as their educational destination. And I think this policy also helps because the strong pillars are made on all these aspects. And here, this policy also aims at creating greater opportunities for individual employment. In those days, I think when I was a student, we were discussing more on unemployment problems. But today, there are only problems related to unemployability. I think you'll understand what I mean by this. Today, we produce lots of thousands of graduates every year. But then, are they employable? That is a very big question. So today, I think through this policy, we have to create a lot of opportunities for individual employment. Every student enrolled in the college should have the kind of confidence that he or she will get an employment at the end of the course. Because now the cost of living is escalating, and so many things are there, making the individual to get employed in a family. All of us have to support the family for its survival. And it is shifting from a rigid higher education curriculum to multidisciplinary UG education. It's very interesting. I think very soon all our colleges will be transformed into multidisciplinary educational institutions where we will have lots and lots of innovative courses which will cater to the needs of the students. And it will be revamping the curriculum, pedagogy, assessment, and student support for enhanced student experiences. The students will never be bored in the classroom. There will be lots of smart classroom activities, to field experiences, and then lots of hands-on experiences will be given to the students. No more will be the ideal or idle classroom setup where the teacher alone will be monotonously speaking, where the students will be dumb in the class. Hereafter, I think not many changes will happen. And this will be reaffirming the integrity of faculty. And this is one point which I'm also very much interested in discussing with you all through this program. We have to have that moral integrity in this profession. And institutional leadership positions. See, not only do we teach in this college, we also take up other voluntary positions in various student support services and in other extracurricular activities. And within this institution, we are given leadership positions like the vice principal or coordinator, staff coordinator, IQAC coordinator, NAC coordinator, and so many, because all of us have to just put our heart and soul, into this. Not one person can do this. We have to give our collective support through institutional leadership positions given to us. And merit appointments and career progression based on teaching, research, and service. Actually, all of us are aware that from this academic year 2020-21, the government has made it mandatory that even at this entry point, a teacher of English in a college, even for teaching undergraduate students, should have minimum qualification of NET or SET or PhD. PhD has become a mandatory qualification at the entry level itself, and merit appointments will be considered hereafter. So I think all of us have started gearing up based on this. And yet another interesting thing is the gross enrollment ratio. I think as in 2018 it was 28.3 percentage, and now the government is planning to increase it to 50% by 2035. Means the gross enrollment ratio is the number of students entering the institutions of higher education, like our colleges and universities. And as we all know, we have got the population of the country, which has the youth population more than 50%. So 50% of our, more than 50% of our India's population comprises youth. And among the youth, only around 15 to 17%. I'm not that sure, but then it's very, very less. It's less than 20% of the youth only enter the higher education portals. The remaining are employed, or they are just engaging themselves in various other activities, because the education is not affordable for many. That's why I said there are lots of debates to be held on affordability in this country. We should bring all youth, to one platform where education is affordable for every youth in this country. And here we have the gross enrollment ratio has to go up. We have to work hard. Even through Nehru Yuva Kendra also, we have been motivating youngsters, the non-student youth in various rural environments to just participate in open universities, to enroll themselves in open universities and in non-formal education. Somehow, they should fall in line with others. Education defines one and all. We all are very much, aware of that. We need to change our existing behavior, and only education can do that. That formal education will create various opportunities for us. And this National Education Policy 2020 will be in vogue, will be in practice for the next 20 years. So I think all of us must tighten our strings to fall in line with this new National Education Policy. And I request all the participants to read more and more about this National Education Policy, because it doesn't stop with only these points. For want of time, I have confined myself to these points which are relevant for today's program. But there are many, many more. There are more than 60 pages which all of us have to read in depth. Yes, we now move on to the next slide. Yes. All of us are aware of one important distinctions of teaching. That is, the teaching is the noblest of all the professions. Am I right? Teaching is the noblest of all professions, because we handle the lives of children and youth. We handle people. It's oriented towards people. But let's just revise. From now on, I have a few questions with you all. I want you all to have a notebook and a pen side by side and try to answer these questions touching your conscience. I'm not going to ask your answers later. I want you to, all these will be rhetorical questions. Hope you all know that there are 4 kinds of questions which we always teach our students. The WH type questions, the polarity type questions, the tag questions, and finally the rhetorical questions, the 4th category, rhetorical questions. I have put in all these, in that mode. Let us just make ourselves clear. Am I as a teacher of English, am I noble? Noble means good. Am I harmless? Good. Am I beneficial as a teacher for the profession of teaching? Have I just contributed myself, totally to this profession of teaching? There are only 2 possible answers, either yes or no. I think all of us will fall under the positive reply. Yes, we are noble for the profession of teaching. I am noble for the profession of teaching. Otherwise, I would not have crossed 32 years of teaching my students. Yes, and I think you will be thinking aloud from now on. Please, remember all these questions will be like a self-appraisal. Since this is an FDP, I want to give a warm-up to all the participants to prepare your mind. It is not a mechanical way of learning something. You don't expect the resource persons to feed to a brain whatever is required. We will only share our knowledge and expertise with you. All 3 of us will be sharing our knowledge and expertise with you, and we only take the horses to the pond. The thirsty horse must drink on its own. Similarly, here also we want you to plunge into your profession, our profession, noble profession. Yeah, am I teaching for the perks and incentives alone? Of course, whatever we do, we are paid. We are compensated in terms of remuneration. We are paid in terms of salary. And are we teaching only for the perks and incentives? I think here the answer must be no, a big no to it. Okay, not. I mean, that's why I put the word alone at the end. Am I teaching for the perks and incentives alone? Of course, we do. Join a profession for earning income, but that is not the only criterion for which I'm working. Okay, I'm teaching not only for the perks and incentives. I'm here to mold the young minds which are interested in me. I think you'll agree with me that all of us are into this field with a special intention, okay, to train the minds of the students. We are not here to teach. Teaching and training have two different meanings. As teachers of English, we have to train. Okay, teaching as a general term, I put it here, but am I training through teaching for the perks and incentives alone? Never ever. Please remove that in your mind if at all anybody has that. Because I heard of a job hopping from one college to another college. If the teachers come to know that the other college is paying a little more, they simply hop, unmindful of their present commitments and responsibilities. That is also not a good sign for the teacher. I am now like Beena, like Dr. Beena, I am also working for the administration. So we know the difficulty when a teacher leaves in between for the better perks and incentives given by another institution. It is not ethical. It is not an ethical practice. Okay, we are not only teaching for the perks and incentives alone. Yeah, am I qualified for teaching? Yeah, just a few minutes ago, we were discussing national education policies, the mandatory qualifications like a PhD. Am I qualified for teaching? Right, the qualifications of teaching not only talk about the ornamental degrees which we have. Okay, it also deals with the other qualifications. See, we need to be punctual, right? We need to be sincere, we need to be honest, we need to be loyal, we need to be accountable, we need to be having leadership quality, we need to, what is that? Complete the syllabus, we need to, be techno-savvy, we have to enter the mass, we have to present everything. So all these, there are so many qualifications for a teacher. Okay, so we have to prepare our minds. So all of us, okay, if we have not got any of these qualities, let us imbibe. It is not difficult to have the qualifications for teaching. See, in those days, when I started my career, I had good role models. That is, I used to emulate, okay, my seniors. Okay, the seniors, through their way of life, I could also learn. Okay, I have corrected many things in me. Okay, I have learned from my teachers. Okay, I have learned a lot from my seniors. There is no harm in learning the good things from our seniors and elders. Okay, like that, here I see most of the participants here are quite young, in your late 20s or 30s or 40s. Right, and I want you all to understand the definition of the qualification for teaching. Okay, not only the degrees, but also the other values of teaching. Am I consciously or conscientiously teaching? Consciously means whether I'm able to complete the unit for the day's, for the day's program. Okay, and conscientiously, am I doing it with a full heart? And I have come across, the teachers in various places wherever I go, right? I have seen students, the teachers going to class with mobiles. Okay, I think it doesn't serve purpose at all. One thing is, we will be conscious of having mobile. So anytime the call comes, we will be consciously trying to attend to it, and our flow will be cut. Okay, there is one example I want to give to be a teacher with the conscientiousness. Okay, we have to be very, very particular about this. Let us not have anything else. Let us only be glued to our class. Let us concentrate fully. We should give our quality time to our students. There should be no barriers in between. Even I don't encourage any visitor to my class unnecessarily. Okay, I will always, tell them that I will come only after the class. Even if somebody calls me in between, I used to say, let me complete my class. Sometimes during emergency, I may have to go out. That is exceptional. Yes, but then, we have to, you and I always take me with you in your company. So we have to be consciously, okay, every day we have to plan ourselves. Right, am I doing myself with all these requirements? See, let us all maintain a diary, and then let us have our lesson plans. Okay, let us have the annual planner. Okay, the semester-wise planner, and all these things will definitely help you. okay, to be conscious, because we are running a race. Okay, the semester system is like a race, so we have to be very conscious about the time management. Sometimes, no, we may plan one thing, man proposes, God disposes. No, sometimes it happens. We may consciously plan for something, but due to some unavoidable circumstances like this COVID situation, we may fall sick and we may tend to be absent or take leave. And so we have to cope with that situation by compensating, by taking extra class. Are we ready for that? Right? By taking extra class for the loss of the particular hour. So let us be conscious and conscientious in our teaching. So am I? Please touch your heart and then decide whether you are consciously and conscientiously teaching. If it is yes, I'll be very happy. If it is no here and there, let us try to correct ourselves. I was also, slipshod in many things in my days. Only over the years, I have improved upon my way of life as a teacher of English. And today, I think I have been, trying to be a role model to others. I never take unnecessary leave. Okay, I never, bunk my classes. I always say to that I just have a direct interaction with my students. I maintain attendance, right? And I maintain my own diary. I revise, I get the feedback from the students. Like that, I consciously make myself in the company of our students. And, as you all know, we not only have our classroom assignment, we also have to be amicable with our fellow, the colleagues in the Department of English, and then we have we are answerable to our administrative heads, and we are answerable to the management, we are answerable to the government, and we are above all, we are answerable to our own students and our parents. Today, everything has become transparent, so all of us have to be consciously and conscientiously teaching. Yes. Next, we will have, do I teach what I know? This is one question, I always, even in the beginning of my career, I used to teach on and on and on about whatever I knew. Then only I realized, no, this is not a thing. Based on the syllabus, okay, we should teach what the students need to know. Please make a difference. Of course, we teach what we know, but there should be, we should confine ourselves to what the students need to know. My next question is also about that only. Do I teach what my students need to know? Because this, now our curriculum design, our syllabus, okay, everything is based on what the students need to know. And every now and then the Board of Studies changes the syllabus, upgrades the syllabus, and we get expert opinions from the members of Board of Studies from various colleges and universities. And they have given us a framework of what to teach. So do we teach? Do I teach what my students need to know? See, not only the bookish knowledge I'm just referring here, I also want you to just take a little tour around, okay, you can share your experiences with your students. Okay, they need to know about our experiences also, not at a very big length, but the relevant things can be discussed with them. In those days, we never had this much of exposure through this media. Today, they're very much exposed. They're born in this LPG era, liberalized, privatized, and globalized era. So they are very much, exposed to the social media. Okay, so their expectations are different now. So we have to cater to what they really need to know. So this is called intrapersonal communication with ourselves. I have changed the synonymous words. Again, the questions will follow. Introspection. That is, we look into ourselves. Okay, retrospection means looking in backward, looking to the past happenings. Introspection is looking into oneself. Okay, here is my next question for you all. Do I teach only the lessons prescribed? Yes, we are supposed to teach only the lessons prescribed. In addition to that, we can also teach them the life's values, the managerial skills, the life skills. Of course, through soft skills, we have lots of contents to share with our students. So please try to share that. Okay, do not waste any moment in the class. Of course, taking attendance consumes lots of time. Let us judiciously use our time, but let us teach whatever best we can. Okay, let us have a plan of what to teach in a class. Okay, so we should teach more than the lessons prescribed. That is my intention here by asking this question. Do I share my relevant experiences with my students? Yes, all of us have to share our relevant experiences. See, that is the main difference between regular college and the correspondence course. Okay, students can take up the degrees through regular colleges and through correspondence courses, but which is preferable? I always prefer the regular college setup where we are all working. And here, face to face, the students will be able to meet the teachers. Okay, we can have the direct contact with the students, and so we got lots of opportunities to share our experiences with them. Because in every home, the parents also have the same dialogue. In all our homes, our parents used to have a dialogue like, whatever problems I faced, you should not face, my dear son or daughter. And that is why I educate you. In those days, I was not properly educated. Now I suffer because of that lack of education. Had I been educated, I would have been the collector of this town or city, and I would have become the vice chancellor like that. Our parents have got long dreams. Okay, but poor things. I'm very sorry to say that most of them could not get access to higher education. But we have students who are gifted, to join us to get degrees. Okay, so and at college also we also share with our students, like whatever problems we have faced in our life, right, should not be faced by our current students. So that's why we just give advice to our students. Okay, see, in my days, I had suffered because of the lack of knowledge, lack of contacts with my teachers or learned professors. But today, we are all very open to you. We are friendly with you. So let us have our sharing of our experience with our students. Do I plan well in advance? Dear friends, do you plan well in advance for your classes? Yes, otherwise we cannot, we cannot do our business in the class. Today's generation, this generation is very sharp, smart and shrewd, and they can easily judge the quality of a teacher, whether the teacher is teaching the lesson or delivering the goods, or simply they say OP, right? The teacher is, what's that? The teacher is not doing justice to her or his teaching. So we have to plan well in advance of what we are supposed to do, because the students are keenly watching us in the class. I think you know better, right? Our students are our best judges. They look at us for nearly 60 minutes in an hour, right? So all 60 minutes, we are answerable to them. Every movement of ours, every gesture of ours, right? Give them some kind of input. Okay, they understand many things from us. So we have to plan well in advance, right? We have to be on guard. Okay, we have to be ready to just tackle the situations in the class. Sometimes we come across some unruly students. Okay, so naturally our plan will be impeded or will be disturbed. So how are we going to cope with that? So let us plan well, okay, to face the students physically, mentally, morally, and socially, right? So that is, we have to be well planned in advance. Do I update my knowledge? Right, now we all underwent our school education, then undergraduate education, post-graduation, and then we used to have an MPhil degree. I think this national education policy has done away with the MPhil degree. After post-graduation, we can straight away go for a PhD. That is today's system. Okay, we have to update our knowledge. See, we should not stop being teachers alone. My dear friends, here, see, the government is also insisting that we should have a research degree, that to the highest research degree, PhD, at the entry level, which means all of us have to have the research bent of mind. See, teaching involves lots of research, and that topics of research also keep changing day after day. So all of us have to update our knowledge by, how can you update your knowledge? How can you update your knowledge? Right, you should have extra reading. Okay, we have to read a lot. And now that we got lots of e-resources, okay, our libraries are all enriched with lots of e-books. Let us just read. Let us update ourselves. Okay, but to this day, like this COVID situation, we never ever dreamt. But have we not updated our knowledge to face the students in this time? We are almost going to complete the first semester, the odd semester now. Right, we have already started conducting model exams, and we are going to have semester exams very shortly. And now we have imbibed the knowledge of conducting online testing, evaluation, declaring result, right, everything. Now everything with a touch, with a click, we are able to do. Now nobody gave us training, right? We just saw each other, we just learned from each other, and we have updated our knowledge to face this current crisis. I think very soon our colleges will reopen, probably from 7th. And so again, we'll be going back to a normal system, offline mode. But then, this is one aspect. We have to upgrade our knowledge in terms of our subject, okay, and in terms of other aspects around for the development of students and for the development of our institutions. Am I recognized for what I do? I think most of us will have a negative answer here. Always we have an inferiority complex that we are not at all recognized for what we do. Okay, all of us feel that we are doing the best, but we are not recognized. Let us forget that. Okay, we need not be recognized by any. Let us be recognized by ourselves, our inner conscience, our own students. They are enough. Our inner conscience and our own students are enough to recognize our sincere service. Please don't ever be carried away by any negative comment given by any of your colleagues or your authorities or students or anybody who are related to us in our field of teaching. Okay, let us recognize ourselves. Let us actualize ourselves. I should recognize my job. Have I done justice to whatever I'm supposed to do? Yes. Am I teaching just to satisfy my employers? Never, right? Never. Let us not teach just to satisfy my employers. See, that is one aspect that we have to satisfy our employers because they expect quality education through our quality teaching. So in that aspect, we should, okay, but that is not just to satisfy. I just stress on the word just. We are teaching to satisfy employers, but not that alone, okay. We have to satisfy other stakeholders, our students, okay, our students' parents, okay, our institution, okay, our university, our country. So we are accountable, okay. So we have to satisfy in the sense we have to do our duty, okay. Do your duty. The rest will be follow suit. Okay, that will follow suit. So let us not just to satisfy. We teach. We also teach to satisfy our own inner conscience, to see to it that our students are well placed. I think that joy is boundless when we see our students well placed at the end of the course. The learning outcome should make them employable. In that case, let us teach in addition to satisfying our employers. We should also try to satisfy ourselves and our students. Do I allow my students to interact in the class? Especially while teaching English, we have a very big problem. That is, we have lots of students in the class. We have an unwieldy strength, and we feel that whenever a student tries to raise his or her head to ask for some question, we always try to snub, right? Because we feel that our time is lost when they start interacting with us. But I think now there's a changed mindset with us. We need to know what they really expect of us, what they really need to know in the class. So interaction is always, a healthy habit in the class. Let us make interaction, but let us also see to it that it is done within our limits. So we should allow our students to interact in the class, not many at a time. Okay, one by one. We can even, if many come forward, let us have the phased manner of handling them. But we should not leave them, or we should not let them go without being answered. Okay, their questions need to be answered. So we should allow I allow my students to interact in the class, but once I sense that the student is going beyond the limit, I will call himself or herself separately, and I'll just admonish, or I'll just give a bit of my mind. Okay, but interaction inside the class is very, very essential, even in our English classes, because we are handling skills, the 4 language skills through lessons, poems, short stories, and one-act plays, or novella, or whatever, right? So we have to encourage interaction in the class. Self-actualization continues with a few more questions. I'll quickly go through these questions. Do I punish my students when they go or do wrong? Let us not use the word punish, but let us take a corrective measure. Okay, so do I take corrective measure when they go or do a wrong will be a better question here. But this word punish, okay, is normally used. Okay, of course, we are not allowed to manhandle them. So most of us, tend to break or lose our temper by shouting at them. I think now we have to practice lots of yoga. We have to calm our minds. Okay, we should understand from their perspective why they go wrong, why they do wrong, knowingly or unknowingly, intentionally or unintentionally, or inadvertently. Okay, if they go or do wrong, let us handle them, psychologically. Okay, please understand. Let us be mentors. Let us take corrective measures because that is their age. They are in the late adolescent age, so that biological changes in them also trigger, okay, their mental stability. So here we have to be very careful in handling them. Otherwise, the end will be disastrous. So we should not think of the word punish. Okay, when it comes to our students, we have to have a very healthy relationship. Okay, we are second parents to them. Okay, please remember we are second parents to them. At the same time, we have to be very stern, very firm, very determined in handling them. Do I possess the qualities or virtues of a teacher like patience, tolerance, adjustability, leadership, knowledge, wisdom, etc.? Yes, all of us are expected to possess these virtues. Okay, otherwise we cannot survive in this field. Okay, yes, next. Do I maintain a diary or a planner? All these 32 years, I have my own diary or a planner, and I used to share that with my colleagues because the diary helps us, maintain the pace of our learning, okay, of our teaching, of our everything. It's always better to maintain a diary. I'm not talking about the diary which contains too personal details, but this diary is our career diary. Okay, you should have the day orders, okay, the classes we're going to meet, the lessons we are going to teach, the subject, okay, the deadline for the assignment, or the marks to be submitted. All those details must be there in our diary, and it can also be called a planner or a ready reckoner. And in addition, I also want you to maintain the details in your diary, like your Aadhaar number, your PAN number, okay, that is permanent account number, okay, your voter's ID, because many a time our college office will ask for the details, okay, your educational background, okay, your teaching experience in the past, your attending various orientation or refresher courses. So all these, must be in the diary. Okay, if time permits, I may come to your college one of these days and I'll show you how I maintain. That is always a handy whenever the college office requires information. When others used to say that I have to go home search for the details, I always show my diary and fill it up then and there. Okay, so let us maintain a diary or a planner for our own personal life as well as for our students and for the college. Am I ethical in my profession, like being punctual, regular? So all of us should develop ethical practices. Even among teachers, there are some black sheep. Let us not do that. Okay, let us not be watchful about others. I always feel that some teachers used to find fault when they come late. They say, when the other teacher came late, why was she not punished or called for an inquiry? Why am I called? Like that, they have that kind of comparison. Let us not compare ourselves with others. If all you want to make comparisons, compare on positive grounds. Okay, so let us be punctual to our classes. Okay, first of all, to the college, to the classes. Let us be regular and let us have good class control. Okay, let us have the ethical practices of it, not for satisfying our employers or our higher authorities, and not that our head of department is watching us, not that principal is watching us. Never ever be ethical in that way. Let us be ethical. Okay, we are going to satisfy our conscience first of all. Do I adjust with my colleagues? This is yet another question which troubles all of us. We have to, because not all the 5 fingers are the same. Okay, not all of us are same in the family as well. So in that case, even in our working environment, we come across people with different mindsets. So we have to adjust with all our colleagues. Okay, in order to fulfill our target, the mission and vision of the college, have to be fulfilled at every point of time. And NAC accreditation also demands that we have got our IQAC, we have got our internal auditing, okay, we got our external auditing. Okay, so for all these things, we need the team spirit, the coordination, the cooperation with all others. So in that aspect, right, we are not supposed to be islands. Okay, we should be archipelago, the group of islands, okay, like where we should work together, because all of us work for the common cause, right? I belong to Guru Nanak College, so I have to work towards the mission and vision of our college, and vision and mission of the college. And similarly, you belong to this Sashin College, so you have, and others in the program, whichever institution you belong to. Okay, each and every institution has got its own vision and mission. So let us work towards this. Okay, not one person can achieve that. All of us should put our efforts together. We should have a collective effort. So in that case, we have to necessarily adjust with our colleagues. There will be lots of pluses and minuses, but then we should sync the differences and work for a congenial, conducive environment. Because our personal problems should not reflect on the students or in the classes or in whatever we do. Okay, forget all the sync all the differences. United we stand, divided we fall. So please remember that we should maintain unity in diversity. Next, we move on to the next part. Show the full questions. I'll just now you can just go through these questions. For want of time, I just present all the questions. Please try to take in whatever is expected here. Am I always strict with my students? Do I read extra to teach? Do I take part in all the major activities of the college? Please try to answer positively to all these questions. Okay, and do I contribute voluntarily? Voluntarily, it should be within course. So the development of my college, right? Many a time we are compelled. Let us not be compelled. Let us voluntarily contribute. Naturally, you will be rewarded duly. Okay, later on, though not now, you will be rewarded duly. Do I write articles and publish papers? My dear participants of this program, I come to know that not only teachers but also students are present here. Even from now on, you can start writing articles and publish papers, and you can even contribute a chapter to a book. Okay, you can participate in conferences at the national and international level, because NAC expects all these, of a different standard, not in the at the local level. Okay, we always want to present ourselves at the national level. That is why even when we conduct a program, we always think high and bring eminent resource persons, and we give the right input and insights for the participants so that they will learn. So let us write articles and publish papers. You see, now during this COVID times, we had lots of time. I think many people, I have come to know this from my colleagues and friends also, they have started contributing articles and publishing papers. Okay, let us all do that. And do I participate in seminar, conference, and workshop? Right now, you have joined this FDP. This is a very healthy sign that you are contributing your precious time in participating in this FDP. Similarly, try to participate in all the available avenues. There are so many institutions coming forward to conduct seminars, conferences, and workshops. It is only how I said about the horse. Only the horse has to drink water. Though the horse is taken to the pond, okay, we are all given the same 24 hours of time each day, but it depends upon us how we contribute. Do I take leave genuinely? Yeah, please. There are some people know, I'm an aided staff. So for us, there are 12 days of casual leave in a year. For example, when we come to second semester, the even semester, some of the teachers, they always see to that all the leave, the 12 days are exhausted. Even if they have 3 days or 4 days, they will take casual leave continuously. For no reason, they take leave. I never encourage that. Many years I have not taken leave at all. Okay, I never lose or gain anything out of that. I gain in a way that I didn't deceive my students. I didn't desert them by taking leave. It is just one person taking leave, but it's affecting 40 plus students, or in English classes, we got 80, 100 students. So taking leave genuinely is okay. Okay, because we are all human beings, we may come across lots of unforeseen circumstances, but let us take leave genuinely if at all it is required. Otherwise, let us not take leave at all. What is the need? If you are sitting idle at home doing nothing, is no good. Some more questions? You can just try to answer. I will make it short. Am I obedient and loyal to my employees and authorities? We have to be. We need not be subservient, but we should be obedient and loyal to our employees and authorities. Am I supposed to be rude to authority? Never ever. We can never ever be rude to your authorities if I'm found faultless. Sometimes, for no fault of ours, we may be called for inquiry, but then, be slow and be logical in explaining yourself. Do I indulge in gossips? Never ever. Please don't ever indulge in gossips. That will never serve any purpose. That will only aggravate the fire. Okay, do I try to rectify my shortfalls? Yes, I will try to rectify my shortfalls or any shortcomings in my career. The reason for this choice, you can just you can have your own reasons for this choice. Okay, your unique efforts in teaching of English. Okay, please bring in some new ways of teaching English. In online classes also, we have come across lots of apps, and I think all of us are handling classes through Google Meet, and they got Google Classroom for other assignments and entry of their tests and papers and assignments. But then, there are many more which have come into picture. We got Dojo, we got Padlets, we got Pages. Okay, there are many. Okay, so we have to learn. Okay, in your spare time, please learn. Okay, of what unique efforts I can bring in to improvise upon the quality of teaching. your online teaching experience. Just in few words, you can just record, and then we'll discuss later in tomorrow's class also, please. Yeah, now past versus present. I want you all to think about the challenges we face offline during our normal days. How many challenges we have faced? Okay, a city like Chennai has got lots of problems in traffic. That is the first challenge we start having on a day. Then traveling towards college. Okay, sometimes it's a hellish experience traveling because of the traffic congestion in a city like Chennai and in other cities also. And then reaching our college and going to the department. Signing now, biometric system has come. There's a heavy rush, okay, towards that, and then we just go to the department, leave things there, again rush to the classes. See, if we start running like a race, I think we cannot do justice to our students. Instead, you always plan in a different way. For example, our college starts at 8:30. I always keep in mind, this is my 14th year here in this college alone, whereas I have served in another college for 16 years and in a school again for 3 years. So in all these, what I always have done in the past, because I have learned this from my father, who was also a professor, and my grandfather, who was the principal. So in that case, the third generation professor I am today, and I always feel that my college starts at 8 o'clock. So I plan accordingly. So I got 30 minutes for me to relax. I used to meditate. I used to have my breakfast. Then very in a cool way, I just go to my class. I never become tensed at all. Okay, so these are all challenges. Then covering the syllabus or completing. We shouldn't use the word covering the syllabus, because we have to rediscover or discover or uncover the syllabus, and we have to complete the syllabus. There also we have got lots of challenges with the class control. So many challenges we face. I just only show the tip of the iceberg. I think you have got many, you and I have got many challenges offline and in online also. I need not say, because all of us are sailing the same boat. So we got lots. So how much time do I spend in a day to upskill myself? I think during this COVID time, if I consider myself, I used to spend more than 10 hours a day to upskill myself. Okay, I don't know how I have got some other restraints or constraints in me, which makes me sit through the system to spend myself in upskilling myself. And which method is conducive for teaching, offline or online? Both have got advantages and disadvantages. So in your spare time, you can just discuss all these things. You can write articles based on all these things. Today, the online journals are also there in plenty. There are many refereed journals, UGC care journals. Okay, so you can always write articles and publish papers on the relevant contemporary topics. Okay, so you can choose all these things. I think many researches are being on. Okay, please do that. Past versus present must be discussed at length. Yeah, here I happen to read an article, okay, in the Economic Times, written by Sumit Kumar, who is the vice president of our NETAP team. He speaks about my topic is redefining skill sets. So I always wanted to study the latest skill sets introduced by the theorists or practitioners. And here I got HOTS for you to share this HOTS with you. Some of you must have read this. I have even given the date. What is that? Times lease. It is a team lease is one. I'm sorry, it is team lease. There is a company. Sumit Kumar is the vice president of NETAP of team lease. It's not lease date. It is ambiguous here. The date is November 27, 2020. If you just refer that, you will see the details of Sumit Kumar's inputs. He talks about high order thinking skills. Okay, what are they? They are the cognitive aspect of capabilities inclusive of creative thinking. Okay, so today we have to have not just the thinking alone. Here, 2021 onwards, we have to change our skill sets. Okay, we should have the decision-making ability. For everything, we should not run to our head of the department or run to the principal or run to the authorities. Okay, you should take quick decisions. That ability, actually, that decision should be a harmless decision. We have to be doubly sure of that. We have to be very careful while taking decision. It's not that easy. While teaching or while telling this to you, it's very easy for me to teach or preach, but it is very difficult to follow. But as and when you develop your knowledge, your experience, through these years, you will develop that kind of a decision making. Okay, the first decision making ability for us, the trouble is when a student comes late to the class, how do we handle? Okay, there starts our decision making in a dilemma. Okay, now in the beginning, I used to harshly speak. Okay, I used to shout at the students. I used to treat all of them, alike. But now, after coming to Chennai, I have come to know that the reasons for late coming are of different dimensions. Some student tells me that he rescued an accident victim. So for such a student, why should I punish? Unless it is true. Okay, only when I come to know that it is a true thing which has happened in his or her life, then I should not take the decision of punishing the particular person. Okay, I should have some flexibility in handling the situation. I should compensate in a different way. Okay, so that is one important areas of problems, in our decision making. There are so many, innumerable. I think we can share later. Creative cognizance, issue resolution, agile decision making. Agile means you have to be quick in taking decisions. Crisis mitigation. There are so many unforeseen problems cropping up in our teaching career. So we have to mitigate. We should always see to it to put an end to that, at least to minimize the crisis. Strategic thinking is the diplomatic thinking which you and I as a teacher should have. Okay, hot. So please read this in detail from Sumit Kumar. Now, in our context, I have redesigned. In our life, we should have analytical skills. We should analyze each and every aspect of our teaching career. We should have future planning. Now, NAC insists on that. What are your future plans? I think in our last slide in every presentation is what is future plans. Because only when we have these future plans, we will move towards it. Otherwise, because our life is cyclic. See, one thing has to be made clear, we teachers, till our retirement, right, till our end, we continue to work. Students come to us only for a short journey for 3 years or 5 years if there is PG, but we are going to be there for some more time. So in that case, we should have a cyclic life. We should plan every now and then how we plan for our own house, or of our own home, our own family. We should plan for the institution also for our classes, okay, and we should have the decision making. Right? All of us always have to be open-minded. Okay, let us not keep anything to ourselves. Let us share frankly with our colleagues and with our other authorities. And time management is a very important skill. Even I should practice now to just make sure that I am able to complete or deliver my goods at a stipulated time. Health management is a very, very important high order thinking skill today, right? During this COVID time, I too have become a victim of a health. Sitting continuously in a place, that has strained my health. Okay, I think many of us also have got the health problems. So how are we going to make up? Okay, how are we going to overcome our health problems? Because it's high time we thought about it. Health is wealth. We have lost many good friends, right? Even at college also we have lost many good souls. Okay, during this COVID time, right? So we have to take extra care because each occupation has got a hazard. Occupational hazard, you must have come to know. Teachers have this throat problem, lungs problem, respiratory problems because we continuously speak. Okay, and we are all the time, we have to speak on and on and on. So naturally, our throat gets strained, and some of us, or most of us, don't eat properly at all. We skip breakfast, which should not be, and for want of time, we skip meals. Let us not do that. That will lead to ulcer and other problems. And married women have got typical problems. Unmarried, some spinsters are around us. Some aged people are around us. So health has become a very big concern in all our life, especially in teaching career. We should not have two problems. One is with regard to our throat. Sometimes due to severe cold, we will not be able to speak. We start whispering. So I used to feel, what will happen if I'm going to be like this? Okay, and we rush to the doctor to get over that. And then stomach problem, bowel movements. If we have problems with regard to bowels, that will again create very big panic in our life. So we should not have these two problems with regard to health. Right? We should have longevity. Right? Our span must be long because we teachers are very good assets. Our human resources, we are empowered, enriched, skilled resources for the nation. Don't think that you are teaching only for the particular institution. Okay, we are at length, working for the whole country, for the whole world, because our students may end up elsewhere. Okay, they are scattered all over the world nowadays. Wherever we go, teachers have got special recognition. Some students have run to us saying that I belong to your 1990 batch, 92 batch. I used to wonder. Sometimes I don't even remember the names. Okay, so all of us, I hear through this, I want you to have special focus on your health. Curriculum development is we have to keep ourselves abreast of what is the latest development in curriculum, because with the changing needs today, the horizon of this world is expanding in a different way, vertically and horizontally. There's a lot of paradigmatic shift in all these. So curriculum is also designed accordingly. Looking at the higher level, at the government level, at the UGC level. UGC again has changed its name into Higher Education Grants Commission now. So they also devise, and Tanshi does that. Dr. Jayaswati Emerajin is doing from her end. Okay, like that, there are so many bodies, government organizations working on curriculum development, and based on that, we devise our syllabus. If our college is an autonomous college, we are given the freedom to frame the syllabus according to the government's curriculum. So we should have this skill also. See, we should not only confine ourselves to our own syllabus, we should also discuss the syllabus of other colleges, and we should have a healthy competition with our institutions here, right? And we should have skill development. Yes. I'm sorry. Skill development. Yes, today our students not only require the academic skill development, they also require some extracurricular, co-curricular. Okay, they require other skills, and especially this what's that? The crisis management. Okay, students should also have that managing ability to tackle their crisis. We think that we only have problems, but our students have got more problems, innumerable problems. So they should know how to manage their crisis. They suffer from financial crisis because of the family situation. Okay, they have got lots of other problems. I think as teachers, you must have gathered so many crises faced by our students. So you have to teach them. Some students are not able to cope with their crisis, and in a very difficult situations, they tend to put an end to their life, which is irreparable to the family as well as to the nation on the whole. Okay, so let us not lose any human resource. Having come to the college itself is a very big development in a student's life, and putting an end to the life oneself is never to be encouraged. So we should develop the other skills for the students. Okay, today we have got skill development centers in every college. Okay, we have add-on courses, we've got certificate courses. So we try to bring them into various skill development programs, so that at least through one skill, they will be able to come up in life. Some students are good at studies, so they will come up through education, degrees and other aspects. They will pass the NET or SET, and they will become lecturers, or they will aim at some jobs suitable to their qualification, but not all of them. Okay, there is a particular percentage of students who are not able to come up at all. Okay, so for such students, we will just develop the skills in them, and in syllabus designing also, each and every one of us should contribute. And the student satisfaction is very, very important. Every satisfaction in the sense the student must carry home, must have the takeaway. At the end of every hour, the student must have the satisfaction that he or she has learned something from us. And the parent satisfaction is very important. We have to have parent-teachers meeting in every semester. So even in our college also, we conduct this twice a semester, and parents used to share a lot with us. They are now outspoken. Okay, gone are those days that parents never used to come to college. I don't remember my parent never came to college. I managed everything myself. But today, parents are equally concerned, because they always want that their child, their student, their son or daughter must be able to get employment at the end of the course. So they also have some expectations from us. Okay, not some, lots of expectations. So our higher order thinking skills should also involve, we should keep them also as our stakeholder. And we got social and communication skills. See, we are not only teacher, we are not made up of wood or metal or clay. Okay, we are also with flesh and blood. We also have heart and soul, right? So we should have the balance of mind. Nowadays, the colleges, conduct lots of yoga programs for teachers, because we have to have a balance of mind. And communication skills are very, very important for teachers. I tell you, this is faculty development program where we want the teachers to empower themselves. We need to have communication skills. Not only talk about the handling language in our day-to-day situation. That is, we have four situations, in our communication. That is a very formal, informal, and very informal. So these are the four communication settings in our life. So we should know how to behave, okay, how to express ourselves in a very formal situation, in a formal situation, in an informal situation, and in a very informal situation. When it comes to informal and very informal, I think nobody comes into our picture because it's in our own control. But we are very much worried about the formal situations inside the classroom, with the colleagues in the department, in the library, on the playground, okay, in a meeting or a seminar or a workshop. How do we communicate with others? Because each one has a purpose. Okay, everybody has got, a goal in our mind, like everybody has got purpose in attending some program. Okay, so we should always, have a kind of understanding, mutual understanding, a kind of compatibility in our communication. Okay, we may not be harsh with anybody today. I think we are very, very down to earth in our communication. We use simple language to reach everybody. Okay, we don't show off. We don't be pedantic in our classes. Okay, today's order is we have to be as simple as we can. Okay, because the primary objective of language is to be understood for communications, only for communication. Our language is for communication. So that communication has to be sound. Yeah, now let us quickly recall how we face this pandemic 2020. It's a historic year. Yeah, there's a paradigmatic shift from conventional life, and I think all of us have been undergoing still. Okay, I think it will take some time for us to wean ourselves from this pandemic 2020. They say, based on the past experiences, they say every 100 years we have faced the pandemic situations, and they say that it will take at least 3 to 5 years for the particular pandemic to vanish from the world. So I think we may have some repercussions, some aftermath, even after this 2020, 2021 also we may face. Though the number is lessened nowadays, every day in the news they keep telling about the cases, corona cases. Now it's coming down, they say, but all hospitals are still full. Okay, because people with different problems, okay, they are vulnerable to this pandemic. So we have to be very careful. And from 24th March, we have been facing this COVID crisis. And I think in the beginning, we had the panicky situation. But later from May, I think even in the mid-April itself, we started, of how to cope with the situation. We started attending online webinars, FDPs, courses, and so many. So now we have got adjusted. Now we have come to know of how to cope with this crisis. And there's a slowdown all over the world. Now, let us not think that we alone are the sufferers or the victims. All over the world, there is a slowdown in everything. It will take some time for us because we have fallen down, okay, in everything. So to rise, though we have fallen down, we may not be fallen down all the time. We can just rise and rise up to the situation. And I think slowly and gradually, we will also come back to normal life soon. Now we are in a position to redefine everything. My dear participants of this program, don't feel bored as I keep telling of all these things. We are in a position to redefine everything. This is a high time, we check ourselves, right? We have to reshuffle our attitudes. Okay, we have to have kind of new, renewed, okay, refreshed knowledge, refreshed outlook. Now we started working from home, but this cannot be there in teaching for a longer time, because we have realized that teaching face-to-face in an offline situation in a real classroom has got better results. Okay, so as teachers, we never want to work from home. We want to see our students, like how the students feel homesick if they are in a hostel. Now I think we are in a hostel situation. We are confined to our homes. We are now college sick. I think you understand this from my perspective. I want to see my friends in the department. I want to see my students in the class. I want to come back. My face becomes jubilant when I think of my students. Okay, so I'm just eagerly waiting for 7th December to come so that I can just, rejoin our old situation. I always prefer, okay, old is gold, because that situation is always better. Online teaching, I don't know, somehow I don't feel the real touch of seeing you all. Okay, only when we face each other, when we meet face to face, I think we can share many more things. And now we have started using masks, and we started using sanitizers, facial. I think all these which are in this slide, you can understand. Okay, but we need to revive the learning technological competencies. As a teacher, all of us, should work towards a better competency level. Okay, from fluency to accuracy, we always say in terms of communication, in terms of competency also, let us now be fluent with the available technology, and then let us be accurate in using it perfectly. And they say even after this reopening or normal life, 30% of our workforce will be working from home, not in teaching profession. In many software companies, they have decided, I believe, of course, I think there were many advantages and disadvantages because of that. And it's very interesting to see weddings online. I have never, for my age, I have never ever thought that weddings would be conducted online in 2020. But now I'm also attending such weddings. It's very interesting from home, we just, and they have that QR code for giving donations. It's very interesting. Okay, and webinars, I think you and I have participated in so many, and we have just learned a lot from through these webinars. We got lots of contacts. Yeah, so please be in tune with all these things. Okay, my dear participants, now that I want to give a big thank you to you here, because so far in the available time given to me, I was able to share with you lots of inputs about how to cope with the situation, how to redefine, how to refine ourselves. Okay, and in my tomorrow session also, I'll be dealing at length of how to develop our communication. Okay, and our journey will definitely continue, and we will meet tomorrow at 3 p.m. Now, in the remaining few minutes, let us have interactions. I'll request Mrs. Gayatri or Mrs. Karpagam, whoever is online, to support me to raise questions from the chat box if any of the participants has raised.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for enlightening us and sharing your knowledge, ma'am. Now we can have the question session. Participants are requested to post your questions in the chat box now. I request Ms. Mohana Priya to handle the question and answer session.
Good evening, everyone. Participants can now post the questions in the chat window.
I think Mrs. Bhagesh has got a question.
Yes, ma'am, I have a question.
The first.
Yes. Now, here is a question from Bhagyalakshmi. Can I deal with that question?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Okay. Please. Here's the question. How can I control a student when he or she continuously distracts the class? I think this is a special child, special student in the class. Every teacher has got this experience of handling distracted in the class. What I do is I just identify. Okay, I think once we can just let them go. Second time, third time, if I come to know that one particular person is he or she continuously distracts me, I will call that person aside. Don't admonish them in public. Today's generation is like that. Okay, as a student, he or she does not like being scolded at in the class in front of others. Am I right? I have been working in a co-educational institution where boys used to tell me, Madam, if at all you want to scold me, please don't scold in public. Okay, don't scold in front of the girls. Even girls also sometimes, they cry in the class if I point out a particular student. So then I learned in the beginning of my career, I too did this mistake by shouting at the individual in the class itself. I used to make the person stand for the whole hour. I used to make the person stand outside the class. In the first 10 years of my career, I had done all these mistakes. I call this, Mrs. Bhagyalakshmi Venugopal, this is a mistake I had committed in my past. Then these days, at a mature, mellowed age, what I do is I call the student aside. I give the student counseling. I just, what I do now, I make the student sit in front of me. Normally, students are never allowed to sit in the class, or means they are allowed to sit in the class. I mean, when the student is called, the department. Okay, I see to that I'm in the afternoons I spend time for counseling. So I make the students sit so that the student will feel comfortable mentally, and then I'll ask the student, I will not talk about what has happened in the class. Okay, I'll start talking about the strengths of the student. Where did you study? Okay, what are you good at? Are you a good singer or dancer? Like that, I'll just deviate the student. I'll try to befriend the student first, so that the student will have a comfort zone with me. Then I'll slowly come to that. I'll ask the student, do you think you're right the way you behave in the class? Then the student will give the answer. So this is my experience. Okay, I control a student by calling the student aside to the department when not again in front of everybody I scold. Only when the situation goes beyond control, I used to keep audience in the department. Otherwise, I will always handle the student privately. That is, before giving the verdict of giving any punishment, don't ever punish anybody. Okay, so there will be such students, not all are same. Please move to another question. I have answered a question. Please counsel the student. Okay, he or she
Thank you,
can.
ma'am. Thank you,
Ma'am,
ma'am.
there's a
I hope
question.
this is one of your usual techniques.
Yes.
This is one of your usual techniques which I witnessed when I was your student, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. Bhagyalakshmi was my student in 90s, late 90s. Yes, Bhagyalakshmi, I do remember. Right, and I think it really worked out in my case with you all. Right.
Yes, ma'am. Especially in my life.
Don't even punish anybody. Okay. Maybe the student is talented in different way. Okay, we can channelize them. They should be. Yes.
The way you dealt us really helped us, ma'am. Okay. The way you dealt us really helped us.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Yes.
Ma'am, there is a question from Dr. P. Shanmugapriya. Can you speak a few lines about stress management?
Stress management, yes.
Stress management.
Yes, that's one of the skills, to be imbibed by us. Again, Dr. Shanmugapriya, yes. Stress management is a very, very important topic to be discussed in this forum. All of us have stress. Okay, we have got physical stress, mental stress, financial stress. Okay, and then stress with our, our duties. Okay, the same 24 hours are there for everybody, but some people are able to do better. They're able to see time management will definitely help you manage your stress. Time management, people management. Okay, you should handle in a positive way. Positivism should be there in you. Okay, you should calm down your mind. All our minds are in the highest boiling point every time. So, as I've been telling, it's very easy for me to preach. Even I undergo this stress. What I do is I remain quiet. Okay, once I face lots of problems, you won't believe, before I started this program, I had so many stressful situations my auditor called me to submit a few details. My college dean, one of the deans asked me to support her, to give her some details. I kept on telling that I will do it after 5:30. Okay, keeping this program in my mind. They said, just 1 minute, fill this and go. What I did, I just switched off my phone. Okay, that is one way of managing my stress. Okay, so many the ways we can handle stress, Shanmugapriya. Keep quiet for some time. Okay, close your eyes for some time. Okay, listen to some good music. Okay, listen, watch. Okay, like divert yourself. Divert yourself from the situation. Okay, avoid that person who caused the stress. Avoid the situation. Come out of that situation. Right? What I do now, I have got a balcony here. I'll just put off everything. I just keep away everything. I just go out and I'll start watching the crows, the dogs, the trees, especially the cyclonic time. We can see the fast wind. Okay, so many things. So I just tend to forget. I listen to music. Okay, like that. I just go around the home. Okay, and I just clean this, that. Whether just, Priya, can you just understand what I try to say? Deviate or divert yourself from the stressful moment. Okay, it will take some time. Okay, let us not think it's a waste of time listening to some good piece of music. Okay, watching some good pictures. Just have something, with you. I used to take my old albums and see. Okay, even that Shanmugapriya was my student. Today she is the principal of a college. Right, Mrs. Bhagyalakshmi is again working in Karagure. Today I invited all of them to come and participate. but I never was sure that all these will be attending. I'm very happy. I think after completing their online classes, they are here with us. Okay, so hope Dr. Shanmugapriya is able to understand whatever I try to say. Be cool. Okay, be cool. Okay, I think in Japanese technology, not technology, but that is psychological way of coming out of stress. They say, so what? So what? If something goes wrong, for example, I just drop a bottle, it breaks into pieces. Okay, what we do, we normally cry over the situation. We always feel, but there's a proverb saying that don't cry over the spilt milk because we cannot redo or undo that. Okay, once it is wasted, it's gone. It's gone into smithereens, gone into pieces. So we need not cry for that. But what we can do is, what next? What next can be done? Okay, next is to clear away the space, to clean the space, and then next time I should be doubly careful in handling the situation. So like that, you can reduce your stress situations. Okay. Okay, Shanmugapriya, have I answered your question? I think this may be a question for all also.
Ma'am, the next question.
Yes.
How to manage the mixed abilities of students in the class?
Yes, of course, we have it's a heterogeneous group only. And I mean, one particular percentage, a small percentage will be overdoing in the class. They think they know everything. Am I right? That is one category of the mixed ability. And another category is those who know nothing. Okay, that kind of like from our assessment, I think all of them are qualified to come to college through their marks in +2. But then, we categorize them like that. Some know too much, some know nothing, and there's a larger chunk who are sitting dumb in the class. Mixed ability is there. Okay, let us not penalize anybody. All of them have got right to learn from us. Okay, after having been admitted, they are entitled to be with us, to be educated by us. So what we do is we always have to have the quality in our teaching. Okay, so we can tell in advance. I used to tell my students in advance, see, this class comprises students from Kendriya Vidyalaya and Navodaya Vidyalaya. I mean, such students from CBSE background, they think they know more than what we know. So to those students, I used to tell in the beginning itself, like we have an ice-breaking session in the beginning, right? We have an introductory session in the beginning, orientation. During that time itself, we used to say, we used to identify them like hardly 5 to 10 only will be there like that. We call them aside and we tell them, see, you are from a very different background. You have learned a little extra, but don't think that you know everything. Okay, we tell them softly. That is one category of one way of handling those students. And the last filtrates we have, we call them, please speak to them individually about their background. Most of them will tell us that their parents are not educated at all. Some of them say that they are from broken families. Some of them say that they are semi-orphaned. Some of them say that they are abandoned by their parents. Some of them say that they are disowned by their parents. Some of them say that they themselves disowned their parents. They come over here. Like this, there are so many cases of students in us, in our classes. So talk to them individually, be not in front of others. Call them individually, speak to them, learn their background, and then cajole them, control them, goad them. Okay, treat them with love and affection, with care, treat them with patience. Okay, so with that, we can manage the last ones, the filtrates. Okay, we have to have remedial coaching for them because they are all slow learners. There are so many reasons for being slow learners. Okay, there are, as I told you, I have a very big list of their problems which they face in their life. So I used to handle them individually. It will take time, but then through mentoring, I think we can control that group also. In between group only is very difficult for me. That is the average students, right? Normally in economic strata, we say that upper class, middle class, lower class. The middle class can never try to go up, or they never want to come down. They suffer as working class forever. Similarly, in our classes also, I feel in my experience, the average group only troubles me. They never move forward. Okay, they never go back. They always tend to be just past cases. And I find, that means their mind is blocked somewhere. So we have to just, make them, participate in other activities. Some of them may be good at speaking skills. Okay, I'll always put them as the association's student coordinator. If the person's good at dancing, I'll send them to dance club or music club, like that. We've got different associations, and the students are good at playing, we'll direct them to the physical director. Like that, just what to mixed ability classes, have to be handled in a different. I mean, all classes are mixed ability classes only. Okay, but we have to make a threadbare analysis of all the students. We should have the thorough knowledge of our students, learn about each and every one of them, and try to take them to the next step. Okay, so that is how we can handle mixed ability group. But in a class, I think when we teach to the lower category or the slow learners, the first category will feel restless. Am I right? I think that is one of the problems which we face in the classes. And somehow, they try to outsmart the teacher by answering in advance. Like there's a quick man in the story, the conjurer's trick. There's a quick man. Okay, and so here also in our classes also we have the quick students who keep answering well in advance, and the middle group will remain quiet forever because they'll be indulging in other. Nowadays they all have mobiles in the class. They play with that like that. So it's a very, very big challenge. It's a challenge, of course, I understand. And times are changing, and the pranks are also changing. And in a mixed ability group, we have to be very, very careful, be judicious. Each and everyone has got your own method of handling the students. We cannot give one strong solution that this you should handle that group, this group, that group. Okay, you devise a plan yourself. Okay, spend some time thinking about that, how to put an end to that. But it will be a perennial problem in this field of teaching. Mixed ability group is going to be a perennial problem. Okay, we have to have our own indigenous methods. Okay, when it is going beyond control, we can take them to the next level of authorities. We can make the person meet the head of the department, or there is a student counselor in every college. We can send the person to the counselor. The distractors or some problematic students, some indifferent students are there in our classes. So let us handle them in a different way. Okay, please handle them with care. Okay, don't ever give up. Okay, don't ever ignore anybody. Don't neglect any student. Each and everyone is born to live. Each and everyone has got the right to live, and everyone has got the right to shine in this world. Let us show them the right way. That is where we should be. That's why I say we should have ethical practices. Okay, yes.
Thank you, ma'am. The next question. Till last year, we had works of literature like prose, poetry, fiction, which taught moral values to be followed in life. But introducing communicative English to students doesn't deal with any moral values. What is your view, ma'am?
I strongly disagree with you because I'm an ELT person. Okay, I don't think that communicative English, teaching communicative English doesn't have any value. It does have lots of values. But see, in a communication, we don't have blank communication, right? We always have a purpose in communication. We speak, okay, we speak about a topic. See, communication at home, we have our own physical needs which are fulfilled by our parents. So we have communication with them. So there's a purpose in that. Okay, so there is a moral value in whatever we speak. Okay, so don't ever think that only by teaching literature through prose, poetry, fiction, we can teach moral values. See, you have to identify the thread, okay, the lead from the communication, the speech environment, the speech situation, okay, through which you can teach moral values. For example, in our communication, some people know, I told in the beginning, so there are 4 communication situations, very formal, formal, informal, and very informal. Our students, tend to be informal during a formal situation. Correct? In a communication process, right? They are informal in a formal situation. So don't we have a moral aspect of controlling them to be formal in a formal situation? Please, the person who raised this question must understand that there is a moral value in every communication situation. Speech situation we call technically speech environment. Okay, that is one aspect of where we can deal with moral values. Some people do not know how to address a teacher. Okay, they don't even, they treat us as their friends, happy about that. But they, even in their conversation also, they just have us on their, like as their equal. And then they speak to us. We always feel that there should be some respect in whatever they speak to us. Okay, so in speech situations, we have lots of opportunities to share the moral value. Objective. If it is subjective lesson, I think, again, I feel bored teaching such a lesson. Right? If it is an objective lesson, from the current situation, of course, we got lots of openings. Okay, sometimes some points are very dry. Okay, how are we going to teach moral values? We need not moralize them at all. See, today's generation is well aware of the morality, the moral aspects of their life. Only things they have to be channeled. Okay, am I right? Have I answered this question? Yes? So you got your
Thank you,
feedback?
ma'am.
You're eagerly waiting for that. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, good evening. I'm Sridevi from Mahalakshmi College, ma'am. I raised that question.
Yes.
Comparatively, I asked, ma'am, last year, I found that I had many opportunities to teach the students the moral values, the life skills to be followed. But this year, first year being new to communicative English, I found it less opportunities to teach life skills comparatively, ma'am.
Okay. I understand. The situation.
But I think I'm answered.
Now we have got to shift our mind. There should be a change in the mind set. Okay. Now that it is made mandatory to teach communicative English to all our students. So first introducing yourself. I think the lessons go on like that. They are now bringing out all these under the 4 skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So what you do is, okay, you create a situation, okay, to teach the moral values depending upon the need, okay, upon the lesson. Okay, you make it relevant. You bring in the moral values accordingly, and then share that moral value with the students. Am I right? Have I answered your question? Of course, there will be some.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Of course, ma'am.
Accustomed to teaching literature will find difficult. There is a strong divide between teaching literature and teaching language. I always say that both are our eyes. We cannot say the right eye is more important than left eye. We need both the eyes, okay, for our vision. So in that case, I always feel that literature and language should travel together. They're all parallel lines in our life. Okay, so let us not demean. Maybe we have not understood the context properly. We should learn. That is where I said we should upgrade ourselves. We should know how to teach communicative English by incorporating moral values. I think in my self-actualization questions, I have had this question also. Okay, so let us create a situation. Okay, now you are given lots of freedom. My dear teachers, please understand, now you have got through this communicative English, your horizon is expanded. Okay, you can create situations depending upon the need. Clear?
Ma'am, the next question. Apart from teaching the syllabus, how to make the students employable as a subject teacher?
As a subject teacher, like, okay, as a teacher of English, right? There are many soft skills which we can teach them. Okay, other than teaching, right? You said some of our students are good at drawing. Some of our students are good at writing or composing poems, writing poems. Not necessarily lyrics, but poems. Some of them are good at painting, okay, singing, or dancing, like that. No, they will be of a mixed ability. Clear. So you channelize them. Not everyone, will shine forth only through academics. Even through this little skill which they have. Let us even the hobbies which they have. Identify their hobbies and try to make them encash their hobbies by making it bigger. Let us be trained. Let them be trained in that hobby and to make it. Even in our college, we used to have a Women's Students Forum, which has identified our students with special skills like beautifying, mehendi art, like that. There are many other talents which a student has. So they conduct workshops and trainings, and now MSME has come forward to give loans to those people, even students. Even in our college, I think it's gaining more and more popularity, where the students are identified based on their skills and they're given special training and they're given government certificates based on which they'll get some loans and they will start their own enterprise. Okay, startups. We can even train them. And in our classes, we used to have some journals. Okay, even in our college, we have Quill as a journal for literature students. In that, they will exhibit their talents in writing or painting or creating a story or any way. Okay, so there are many such things which can be explored in our students. So you can train them based on these skills present in them. Okay, I used to, even in those days when Bhagyashmi and Shanmugapriya were my students, we used to enact Shakespearean plays in the college for 3 hours. So Dr. Shanmugapriya has done the role, okay, in Midsummer Night's Dream, if I remember right. Okay, and her friend who is no more today, very unfortunately. But we used to train them in those days. I used to take them to radio station, All India Radio Madurai. Right, we used to send them to Doordarshan Chennai. From Dindigul, we all belong to Dindigul. So from there we used to, okay, what is that? We used to show, and some students are good at martial arts. Okay, and we used to have the summer festival. What's that called? In Kodaikanal, we have Kodaikanal next to us. So we have got that Kodai Vida, the summer festival, where we used to send our students. Some of our students had gone to South Africa, Durban, to dance at the South Asian Federation Games inaugural session. Like that, no, we used to identify the students' talents. Okay, so please identify the talents in your students and then channel them to the respective training units and then let them come up in that way. Is that the answer you wanted here, or do you have any other solution for this?
Ma'am, the question was from YouTube comment box. I think you have answered her. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
The next question. Social media and today's student community. Please comment.
Social media, really, it's a very big distractor. Number one, see, it has become a necessary evil now. Right? In our days, TV was like that. It was an idiot box. But now social media has become a necessary evil. Necessary evil. See, for online classes, we need that. We have. But our children, our students are too much into it. That is where we get angry or we get irritated. Okay, because social media have opened the horizons. Now our youngsters know everything from A to Z of our life. They know everything, and they have their own way of dealing with their misconceptions or their own doubts, and they love to be all the time with social media. Okay, really, I as a parent, I'm very much against that. But we should have a judicious use of. But the same social media also help us. Recently, when one of my relatives was down with an accident, we wanted 6 units of blood. Only through social media I came to know. Okay, and we got help. So sometimes it helps us. Okay, again I had to ask my daughter to help me out in that. Okay, in no time, she could help me like that. So what to say? I too have lots of what's that? Dissatisfaction with the existing social media. It's too much of exposure is also good for nothing. Okay, let us see again. We cannot mold everybody. Or we cannot control everybody into that. The individual has to realize. And today, the lots of problems faced by the youth. Okay, having gone too much into social media without knowing the person fully well, they develop friendship at a very deep level, and they abscond, they elope, okay, and they go around somewhere. Again, they come back home as a prodigal son or daughter, and then it will take time for the parents to receive them. Right? There's so many things. In some places, the whole family commits suicide. Right? The parents kill the boy. Honor killings take place because of such unnecessary connections in social media. So the individuals, so in that case, we have to have counseling. We have to counsel in general first, and then if you find one particular person who is too much into social media, then we have to honor him or her and then give a special counseling and make the person realize the legal effects of too much of exposure to social media. But I feel it's a necessary evil today. Yes, Mohana, please, is there any more question?
Ma'am, one more question from YouTube. What are the methods that help and enhance students' communication skills?
Methods. Yes. Now you just make them into pairs. Okay. Create pairs in the class. PAIR pairs. Okay. Two students together. Okay, and form a small group. Okay, and then make them. I know it will make a lot. It will make lots of noises in the class. Other teachers don't ever like such things in the class. But then we have to have small groups, because we cannot have the whole class speaking. Okay, sometimes we can have some dictations. Okay, we can have some mock sessions, mock interviews. Sometimes we can have what they call jam, just a minute session. Okay, sometimes we can have kind of interview with Mahatma Gandhi or interview with Nelson Mandela, or interview with Bill Gates, something like that. We can create some situations, okay? In a small group, we can, I mean, in my days, I think I have brought the students, some 4 or 5 students who are good at speaking. They will come in front of other students and they will have a session among themselves. Of course, this is a boring session for others. And I used to train them in singing also. I used to train them, tongue twisters. Okay, I used to train them some English songs. There are many good English songs. Okay, situational songs. I used to train them singing. So little by little, I used to correct them, and pronunciation skills. We used to have vowel drills. Phonics classes like that. Again, I say that there is no one particular good method. Okay, it all depends upon. Sometimes, even in my experience, I used to meet some 11 classes. One of my classes, used to be very smart. Collectively, the class seems to be very smart. There, I have to teach. That's all. They will carry on with their activities. Whereas I have got another class full of distractors. Can you believe how I'll be in that class? I cannot use the same method which I used in the first class, okay? I have to change my plan. I'll make them read. The one who disturbs me will be asked to read. Sometimes they will even hesitate to read. Okay, follow different methods. Okay, ask your seniors in the department how they handled. Okay, ask your fellows. You have some healthy discussions among yourselves. Or you can even call those students who are overdoing in the class. Okay, the over smart students are there in the class. To call them and then discuss with them what can be the method, to make the whole class, in a uniform way, like that. Okay, so just create your own situation. In reality, our world is very big. Okay, we can have our own situation. Okay, sometimes this method works in a class. Okay, sometimes the other method works better in the other class. We cannot have the same method in both classes. Okay, so lots of methods we can have. Okay, today about, I don't talk about the theories, the methods, the techniques, the approaches which are there in the books. Okay, I think you're asking the word method in a very simple term. Am I right? I think you are not talking about the direct method or the grammar translation method or the Michael West method or the communicative language teaching method or content-based learning or task-based learning method. Right? I don't think you're asking me all those questions. Okay, those are bookish theories which may or may not work out. But in our respective classes, we have our own ways of having methods to handle our students. Okay. Yes.
Ma'am, the next question. Is there any technique that you use to remember the names of the students?
Yes, I do have mnemonics. Yes, I have a technique. Like I used to have lots of adjectives. Okay, some students are one of the students is very good at singing, and one of the students is always complaining. Okay, one of the students is very playful. Like that we identify them, right? Some of them are all the time talking on and on and on. Okay, I used to divide the human personality in 4 categories: extroverts, introverts, ambiverts, and perverts. So I'll just have, if I have one particular student, an introvert in the class, I remember so-and-so's introvert. I had a student called Solomon, who used to be an introvert. So I associate that introvertism with Solomon. So I remember Solomon even after all these years, because of the introvertism he peculiarly had in him. And there was a student, whom I identified as a boxer. Okay, his name is Vinod, boxer Vinod. So I remember so I associate certain peculiar quality in a student with the name, or sometimes the first letter may have an association with something. Okay, I used to say altruistic Amuga. Okay, and I used to say valetudinarian Vasanti. Like that, I used to have names. Okay, I'll associate adjectives with the names, and of course, it's not that easy. But then I cannot remember all the names all the time. I crossed 32 years in my service, but very rarely here and there. Okay, I have some students whose names I still remember. And one thing teachers remember 2 categories of names. One is the best students are remembered everywhere, and the worst students according to our mindset. Okay, how I don't say at this age, I should not say that is the worst student in the class, because I have different attitude nowadays. I handle everyone on par with each other. So from our side, the bad elements or the negative elements of the class are also remembered by us. Am I right? Yes?
Oh,
The
ma'am.
mediocre students, we are not able to remember for a long time. But the above average and the below average students were able to remember very well. Am I right? And for their, some students are, champions or athletic champions. What do they call? Some are good dancers. I still remember such names. But I cannot remember all the names, to be very frank. Okay, I'll associate with some qualities of the students. Or I had a student from, her name is Delhi Babu. His name is Delhi Babu. Delhi Babu. How can I forget the name? And one student was, what's his name? Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was one of my students. And I had a student called Bharata Mata. I had a student called Bharata Mata. Okay, I had a girl student called Prabhu. Such students I can never forget even now. I can never forget those names. All these students are from GT Arts College, Dindigul, where I had began my career as a teacher. So I still know some names. I cannot remember all the names. Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. What is the best way to improve communication level of remote background students?
Yes. You see, you allow them to listen. Today, lots of YouTube videos are available, okay, and they have their mobiles. So show them some of the channels. Introduce them to some good channels where they can just watch. Today, they got YouTube channels with teaching just one sound in one video. One sound in one video, okay, like that. We got 44 sounds in English. There are lots of videos. Get them, used to watching those. Let them listen. I always, close my eyes when I listen to some good songs for accent training. I used to close my eyes and listen to make them do the same way. Okay, and then you will give them chances to read in the class, so that they will overcome their inhibition in reading, the shy feeling in the class. Okay, like that, you create some opportunities for them. The remote students, first of all, they are very, very shy in nature. They have lots of inferiority complex. Okay, they feel very, they feel somewhat, isolated from the rest of the class. So you call them, you just highlight the good quality in the student and make the student prominent in the class. Okay, recognize the good thing in him or her. Okay, you can tell them, come on, when Gopal, you seem to be very good person with a good physique, maybe a player like that, like that. Yes, so he used to say, yes, madam, I have won prizes in athletics. So you can, then he will slowly, come to you closely. Okay, you recognize their individual talents. Okay, and then create a friend circle. Okay, it's a virtual circle only, and then you make them, you expose them to different avenues. So you can give them some storybooks to read. Okay, first let them read silently, and then let them read aloud, so that they will be familiar with the sound and spelling of the word. Okay, and you give moral reading to them. And you speak to them. Okay, for in the beginning, you will find some difficulty handling them. I too have come across lots of remote students. Today, one of my students is in Colombia. He has done his postdoctoral. He used to sleep all the time in my class. Okay, Josefa. His name is Josefa from Kosovapatti. You won't believe this Josefa. I'm just using the actual name. You must be very happy because he has written a script, right, from Kosovapatti to Colombia. I think he's going to film his script very soon. Okay, he is undergoing lots of training, and such a person from the scratch has come up to that level. Okay, doing postdoctorate in chemistry. He was he used to come to me for foundation English. He used to fail in all the semesters, but he was very good at chemistry. Okay, he is from a remotest village of a place, but today he's in Colombia. He is handling lots of virtual classes for students across the world in organic chemistry. Okay, like that, there's one sample in my life. There are many good samples. I cannot bring them all into this picture, but then, we have lots of success stories, like from the scratch. Okay, how they come up to a very exemplary level. Okay, you just speak to them, spend some time with them. Okay, and recognize their individual talent, and then give them little by little some extra coaching. Okay.
Ma'am, the next question. How can we balance the present pressures to be an ideal person to offer our services at home and at the workplace?
It's a very, very difficult question to answer. Even I suffer from this. Right now, I'm handling this, and I can see my son, peeping through the door asking for food now. So I know I have lots of difficulty. I have a pressure. Okay, we cannot be ideal at all. We cannot satisfy everybody. We cannot serve two masters at a time. And let us all pray that we should go back to our college, so that in the college we are like horses with blinkers. We will work only for the college, and after that particular time we come back to home, and we will work for our people at home. But now, really, there's a great pressure. I too suffer. I cry sometimes. Okay, when I'm not able to meet their needs. So what I have promised them, I like today, this morning itself, I told my daughter and son that today I have these many programs. In the morning, I had one online class, 10:30 to 11:30. Okay, then 2 o'clock, I had attended a Viva of Bharatiya University. 2:30, your program started. Okay, from 2:30 till now, I have been here. So I told my children well in advance. I told my husband well in advance. Okay, that I have this program. So I have cooked food for both breakfast and lunch. I kept it on the table. Okay, what to do? Of course, they don't like that at all. They say, "Mother, you are at home and we want hot food. Okay, get me hot food." Even my son is waiting. He has not even had his lunch. Okay, I have to prepare him. Now his time is almost 5, and I'm going to give him. And I feel very guilty giving him lunch now after all my programs. Okay, of course, I face this pressure. But again, people advise me to come out on VRS. So many methods they have, solutions they have, but I cannot come out of my profession. My first love is my profession. So I too face this problem. Again, I think there is no one particular answer to this question. It's a very, very important question for the day. I think this question is for all of us. Okay, we have to balance both the work and the home. And sitting at home doing both is really very hectic and hellish. I'm sorry, I don't have any answer because I myself suffer. I want you to give me some suggestions to come out of this problem. I'm very sorry to be very frank here.
And one last question. When our colleagues try to project us falsely with the students as well as to the management, what should I do?
Again, this is also another problematic question which I too face. Okay, right. You know what I do? I just keep myself away. I ignore everything. Okay, the time will come, right? A day will come, though not far. I always have a ray of hope that a day will come when people will realize our individual merit. By doing good again and again, I think we will undo all their false stories or carrying tales about us or sneaking or spying or whatever you call it. Okay, you just சொல்ல போனா in Tamil we used to say திகட்ட நல்லது செஞ்சுட்டே இருக்கணும். Okay, அவங்க திகட்டுற அளவுக்கு we have to till they get bored of doing against us. Okay, one thing is they are not smart enough to face us, face to face. Okay, they are doing it at the back. Correct? Am I right? I think that's one of the problems which you all face. Okay, those persons who falsely project us in the class, it will not stay long. Okay, students are good judges. They are the best judges, so to say. And our authorities are also best judges on the other side. They know who we are. Okay, we need not have tit for tat. I tell you now, do not take any revenge upon them. Be cool, do good, okay, speak normally, okay, have a normal situation. They themselves will be confused and they will one fine day leave their stand and they may, okay, again, this is a psychological issue. Human minds work in different ways. Such people who are made up of vicious natures can never come out of that. I know I have come across. Okay, it's very difficult. It's very, very difficult to come out of that. I do like this nowadays. I just keep myself away, but I continue to do whatever good I can. Okay, to my students, I'm only answerable to my students. I feel in my mind. Okay, I just ignore such people and such comments. But when time comes, I will tell the authorities that I didn't do that. I know that I'm falsely projected, and I will be very happy if that image is removed. Okay, I have even spoken to higher authorities when such situations came up in my own life. Even at this age, I faced such situations. Okay, but then with a smiling face, I poo-poo everything. I shoo away all the cases, such cases. I ignore them. Sometimes I neglect them. I just even don't give any heed to them. Okay, just be cool. Day will come. Okay, when we all get our due justice. Yes. Yes, Ms.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for answering all the questions. Over to Gayatri, ma'am, now.
Thank you, Ms. Mohanapriya, for your coordination. Now it's time for us to express our thanks to the speaker.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
It's a great honor and privilege to listen to the resource person of the day, Dr. Kalanati, Vice Principal, Students Affairs, Guru Nanak College, Chennai. Madam, your session is an eye-opener for the faculty members of the educational institutions. The concern you exhibited towards the students' community and the faculty members made us aware of the importance of self-care and attention to be paid to empower the students. All our minds got refreshed and recreated today. We are very much eager to join your session tomorrow and look forward to getting benefited. Thank you so much, madam. With this note, yes, thank you, ma'am.
Note of English. Thank you, Ms. Gayatri. Thank you, Dr. Santosh Mita. And I thank Mrs. Mohan Priya for coordinating very well. And I thank Mrs. Deepa. I thank the Vice Principal, Madam, and all related to this FDP. I thank you all. If I have missed anybody, I'm sorry. I thank you all very much. I thank all the participants for having joined me today. Tomorrow we have yet another dimension of this program. Of course, this FDP will definitely enrich you, and towards the end, you will have a very good learning outcome. Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you, madam. With this note, today's session comes to an end. Participants are requested to join us tomorrow and attend the Day 2 session. Thank you for your participation.
Thank you all very much.